Thanks for looking out, boss.
Thanks for the great work.
Inside a small music store, Reacher is trying to sell his vintage CD collection. He is known as a former military police officer, once an elite soldier with a sharp eye for danger. As Reacher browses the shelves, he notices a criminal attempting to abduct a shy, nerdy college student.
What the hell?
Without hesitation, Reacher steps in and quickly neutralizes the attacker.
No, please, I'm not gonna hurt you.
But just as a police officer suddenly arrives on the scene, Reacher accidentally fires and hits him. With no time to explain, Reacher grabs the student and flees. That was the moment Reacher Season 3 began. While driving, a police cruiser spots them and begins chasing. Reacher uses his skills to evade pursuit and eventually find a safe place. There, he tells the student, Richard, to head home alone while he goes into hiding. Richard refuses and insists that Reacher come with him, convinced that his powerful father can help clear things up. With no better option, Reacher agrees.
You got a name, kid?
Richard.
Get in, Richard.
When they arrive, Richard's beachfront mansion shows the family's wealth. At the gate, a bulky security guard demands a check. Reacher hesitates, saying he is unarmed, but Richard persuades him to follow protocol.
Why is it empty?
Because I shot all the bullets.
Inside, Richard introduces Reacher to his father, Zachary, a major figure in the carpet industry and one of the richest businessmen in the country. Reacher explains how he rescued Richard and suggests hiring a bodyguard for his protection. Zachary thanks Reacher for saving his son and promises to pull strings to fix the situation with the police. For now, he tells Reacher to relax while he heads off to a high-stakes client meeting.
But I do owe you. Figure out the best way I can be of help.
Okay.
An hour later, Reacher is called to a room where Zachary's head of security and a trusted aide are waiting. Zachary makes his intentions clear. He wants Reacher to become his son's personal bodyguard. Since Reacher is currently jobless, he accepts the offer. However, before officially joining, he must pass a round of Russian roulette like all of Zachary's men do. Without hesitation, Reacher lifts the pistol and fires at his own head 4 times in a row. Each time, he survives. Everyone in the room is stunned by his determination, and Zachary's respect for him grows.
You prove your point.
Reacher is given a private room, just like Zachary's top men. Once alone, he carefully checks for any surveillance devices. Then he pulls a hidden phone from inside his oversized boot and makes a call to confirm that he is in.
Yeah.
I'm in.
The story then jumps back to 1 week earlier. Reacher is lying low in a motel when 3 DEA agents arrive.
Where are you going, Mr. Reacher?
Their leader, Susan, tells Reacher they need his help. His military police background makes him the perfect candidate. The target is Zachary, a drug lord disguised as the head of a carpet empire. Susan wants Reacher on the inside. Reacher does not answer immediately, but promises to decide by the next day. When the day arrives, he meets Susan again and agrees to join the mission. Susan explains the details. A month ago, she sent an undercover agent named Teresa to pose as a maid inside Zachary's estate. Teresa has gone silent, and Susan fears she has been compromised. Reacher's mission is twofold: gather evidence of Zachary's drug operations and locate Teresa. To get Reacher inside, Susan staged the entire kidnapping. One skinny agent played the kidnapper, while a bulkier agent faked being the cop Reacher supposedly shot, protected by a bulletproof vest. They rehearsed everything carefully.
You got a pocket knife? Now I always know exactly where the blanks start. We need as little suspicion as possible.
How?
I kill a cop. It's top quality stuff.
Are you sure this is safe?
Christ's sakes. Bang.
That great.
Jesus! Come on, guys, not funny!
Funny to me.
She also gave Reacher large boots to hide the phone. All preparations were set to bring Reacher close to Zachary. Back in the present, Reacher sneaks out of his room and heads to a nearby warehouse. Inside, he finds a plate of food and a bracelet that belongs to Teresa. He contacts Susan to confirm she was held there, but has likely been moved.
I gotta get back to my room before the rest of the house wakes up. We'll find her again.
Just in time, Reacher rushes back to his room as Zachary's aide Adam arrives with another man. They reach him seconds later. Adam orders Reacher to inspect the kidnapper's vehicle, now impounded at a police storage facility. He will be accompanied by Malik, another trusted operative.
Give me 5 minutes to get dressed. You got 2.
Once Adam leaves, Reacher contacts Susan and tells her to secure the car, since it is part of the stage plan. 15 minutes later, Reacher and Malik arrive at the warehouse. On the way, Malik hints that Zachary might not be the real boss.
Got a lot to learn, big fella. Got a lot to learn. Who gives a fuck what Zachary Beck thinks?
At the facility, Malik tries to bribe the guard, but Reacher quickly knocks the guard out cold.
I'm looking to jam you up, but I think the
What the fuck did you do that for?
They then enter the building. Thanks to Susan's work, the car has already been swapped. There are no fingerprints or evidence left behind. Reacher remains calm, while Malik finds nothing suspicious. Their cover remains intact. The next morning, with Richard off for the day, Zachary hands Reacher a task to deliver a package to a nearby town, and Reacher will drive the container himself. On his way out, Paulie stops him for an arm wrestling challenge. Reacher humors him before heading out.
Stop me. Just your strength against mine.
Easy.
Cut the shit. Truck's ready. Let's go.
Later, Reacher drives the container across town, but he's suspicious. He believes the cargo might be illegal, so he contacts Susan. She tells him to meet her at a rest stop to check it out. When they open the container, Susan hopes for evidence to finally arrest Zachary. But all they find are carpets, neatly stacked and clean. Even a sniffer dog finds nothing. Disappointed but composed, Susan lets Reacher go. He still has a delivery to complete.
Rugs. What'd you think was in there?
After dropping off the cargo, Reacher heads to Zachary's carpet warehouse and runs into Malik. Malik demands answers about why Reacher assaulted a police guard the night before and raises concerns about the kidnapper's car. Reacher brushes it off, but Malik won't let it go. When the accusations push too far, Reacher is forced to kill him. He hides the body, then calmly returns to the estate.
What's the holdup?
Angel talks too much.
Back at the house, Reacher grabs dinner in the kitchen. Minutes later, Zachary calls him in. With Malik unreachable, Zachary turns to Reacher for the report on the kidnapper's car. Reacher sticks to the script. He assures Zachary that from now on, Richard's safety is his personal responsibility. Zachary accepts it and tells Reacher to rest. In his room, Reacher calls Susan and tells her to pick him up by the beach. He climbs out the window and quietly sneaks off. While waiting, he swims under the moonlight. Susan arrives, and Reacher quickly changes and jumps in the car. He tells her they're going to the carpet warehouse. On the way, Susan presses him for answers. Reacher reveals he killed Malik and believes Teresa may be trapped inside that warehouse. When they arrive, they stash Malik's body in a container truck and begin sweeping the building. Room after room, they search for Teresa, but she's nowhere to be found. Then 2 of Zachary's men suddenly show up. Reacher and Susan strike fast, eliminating both.
You're supposed to give us a lift back to...
Is that blood?
They store the bodies alongside Malik's and prepare to leave. Reacher tells Susan to take him back to the beach before daylight. As dawn breaks, they part ways and agree to regroup in the morning. Meanwhile, at the estate, Zachary and Adam realize 3 of their men, including Malik, have vanished, and they were scheduled for a major delivery. Reacher casually offers to take their place, but Zachary refuses. Richard is heading to campus today, and he wants Reacher focused on keeping his son safe. On the way to campus, Reacher casually questions Richard about Zachary's real boss and the nature of the family business. Richard does not hesitate. The man behind it all is Quinn, a Japanese-American businessman with vast holdings across the country. As for his father, Richard insists he only deals in carpets. Later, they stop by an antique gun shop. Richard wants to buy a vintage revolver as a gift for his father. While Richard is inside, Reacher uses the moment to contact Susan. He reports that Zachary is working under someone named Quinn and tells her to start digging into Quinn's background. He also warns that a shipment is going out today and urges her to keep watch. Susan agrees and gives Reacher a new directive: eliminate Adam, so Reacher can move up and gain better access to Zachary's operation. Reacher accepts the assignment. Outside the shop, 3 of Richard's classmates appear, intending to prank him. Before they can act, Reacher steps in and knocks them down effortlessly.
And who the hell are you?
I'm Richard's friend.
Get yourself a little babysitter now?
Once they retreat, Richard invites Reacher for ice cream. During their chat, Richard confesses that he hates Quinn. Years ago, he accidentally overheard one of Quinn's phone calls. As punishment, Quinn had part of Richard's ear cut off. Zachary stood by helpless, terrified of Quinn. In truth, Zachary wants out, but is trapped. Every guard on the estate answers to Quinn. Only Reacher was hired by Zachary himself, and only because he saved Richard. Reacher now knows who the real threat is. He tells Richard to stay strong and promises things will change.
That's the life you want. I can help you get there.
Okay.
Meanwhile, Susan and her team surveil one of Zachary's shipments. A luxury car arrives, and Susan snaps a photo of a man she believes is Quinn.
Smile for the camera, Julius McCabe.
That afternoon, Zachary receives an email, supposedly from Malik. It claims the kidnapper who targeted Richard has been found. Zachary then tells Adam and Reacher to come with him to interrogate the suspect. What Zachary does not know is that Susan sent the email from Malik's laptop. The real plan is to eliminate Adam. At the location, Reacher tells Zachary to stay in the car while he and Adam go inside to search.
Let's go, asshole.
Inside, Reacher points a gun at Adam and demands to know where Teresa is. Adam refuses, knowing Reacher is working against them. Reacher shoots him dead, fires a few more shots into the room, stages the scene, throws a grenade, and rushes back to the car pretending to be wounded. Breathless, Reacher tells Zachary they were ambushed and that Adam did not make it. He claims Malik was the one who set them up. Zachary believes every word and swears revenge on Malik, not realizing it was all Reacher's plan. Impressed, Zachary promotes Reacher to be his new personal aide.
You're about to be my new number 2. Here, take it. It's yours now.
That night, Reacher meets Susan at the safe house. He confirms everything went as planned, then Susan shows him the photo she took earlier of Quinn. Reacher's expression changes because he recognizes the man. It is Quinn, an old enemy he thought was long dead. Reacher tells Susan he once shot Quinn and left him for dead in a ravine. When Susan asks for the full story, Reacher finally opens up. Years ago, while serving in the military, Reacher and his partner Maria were tasked with capturing a fugitive who leaked classified U.S. intel.
Let's get to it.
During the interrogation, the fugitive confessed he was working under a corrupt intelligence officer named Quinn.
Long after you're gone.
He took my daughter!
Xavier Quinn. He's military intelligence. That's why I couldn't go to the cops.
From that moment, Reacher and Maria made Quinn their next target. The next day, Reacher and Maria are summoned by their commanding officer. Reacher is assigned a new mission, while Maria is sent alone to pursue Quinn. Though Reacher follows orders, he clearly feels uneasy about leaving Maria to face Quinn by herself.
Put the cuffs on Quinn, Sergeant.
Really?
Tracked you earned your moment.
Thank you, Reacher.
Welcome, Cole.
A week later, Reacher completes his mission but has not heard from Maria. Growing concerned, he sends her a message. She replies, saying everything is fine, But something feels wrong. She addresses him as Sir for the first time, which raises alarm bells.
What'd she say? Got him. Sir.
Reacher traces the message and sets out with a team to her location. When they arrive, Maria is missing and one of her team members lies dead. Reacher is certain Quinn has taken her, but the exact location is unknown. The following day, a general informs Reacher that Quinn likely brought Maria to a forest hideout used for interrogations. Without hesitation, Reacher heads straight there. He reaches the cabin and finds Maria's body. She's been murdered. Driven by rage, Reacher searches a nearby house and catches Quinn trying to escape. He drags Quinn to the edge of a ravine.
You assume you know the whole story, but you don't.
Let's make a deal. They're higher ups.
Quinn pleads for mercy, offering money, but Reacher shows no interest. He pulls the trigger and watches Quinn fall into the river below. Back in the present, Reacher finishes telling Susan the story. He never believed Quinn was still alive and now vows to end it for good. With that, he returns to Zachary's estate.
Got any coffee?
Everything okay?
Long night.
The next morning, Reacher is training Richard in self-defense when Zachary arrives with urgent news. Quinn has sent 3 men to retrieve Malik's laptop, which Susan now holds. The laptop is tracked to an abandoned factory. Reacher is ordered to join the retrieval team and quickly heads out. While driving, Reacher tries calling Susan to warn her to ditch the laptop immediately, but she does not answer. Meanwhile, Susan is inside the factory, discussing the laptop with her colleague. Suddenly, Quinn's men breach the building. Reacher, still unable to reach her, tries the landline.
Why would someone be calling here when it's closed?
As Susan picks up, gunfire erupts. Reacher arrives moments later and storms inside. One of Quinn's men assumes Reacher is an ally and lets down his guard. Reacher shoots him on the spot. Inside, only one of Quinn's men remains. Susan has already taken down the second. She raises her weapon to shoot the last one, but Reacher stops her. They decide to let him live. Susan and her teammate leave, disposing of Malik's laptop on the way. Reacher follows the final man, pretending to chase him. He drives deliberately into a muddy patch, ending the pursuit. Quinn's man mutters that Quinn will be furious about losing the laptop. Reacher remains silent, keeping his cover intact. Elsewhere, Susan and Guillermo argue. Guillermo wants to quit, saying the mission is too dangerous and chaotic, but Susan refuses. She will not stop until Quinn is taken down. Rather than waste time, she urges Guillermo to help track Teresa. An hour later, Susan calls Reacher while he is in Zachary's backyard. She tells him they're splitting up. She will check another of Zachary's carpet factories, and Guillermo will investigate Quinn's lubricant plant based on clues from the laptop. Reacher tells her to stay safe and keep him updated. After the call, Reacher goes inside for coffee, but one of Quinn's new men watches him. Since the last mission failed, Quinn has placed more guards around Zachary's home. Reacher dislikes the way the man looks at him. Without hesitation, he attacks.
I've never been so jealous of a fork in my life. Funny though.
You have any thoughts on dessert?
I got diabetes.
The story shifts to one of Susan's men, the same agent who had earlier posed as Richard's kidnapper. He is now guarding a prisoner, one of Zachary's informants. The prisoner remains calm and asks for a cigarette, claiming he has not smoked in a while. When the agent brings one over, the informant takes a swig of beer but holds it in his mouth. As the cigarette is lit, he spits the beer, setting the agent on fire and launching a fierce escape. The agent dies instantly. The informant manages to get away, determined to reveal Reacher's true identity to Zachary. Moments later, Susan arrives at the scene and immediately calls Reacher. She warns him to flee before the informant can reach Zachary, but Reacher refuses to run. Instead, he plans to take down the threat himself. He contacts Guillermo and shares a location.
What the hell's going on?
Bodyguard killed Elliot.
At the same time, Susan sabotages a nearby power station, plunging the city into darkness. Reacher then convinces Zachary to let him guard the southern perimeter of the house, explaining that the blackout poses a risk. Zachary agrees without hesitation. Later that night, Reacher meets Guillermo at the rendezvous point. Together, they flip a car in the middle of the road to stage an accident. Reacher instructs Guillermo to act like a stranded driver, hoping the informant will stop to help. Guillermo hesitates and asks what will happen if the informant simply runs him over. Reacher reassures him it will not happen. In the end, Guillermo agrees and takes position while Reacher hides in the bushes. Soon enough, the informant arrives. As expected, he stops and approaches the wreck. When he leans in to check on Guillermo, Reacher steps out and shoots him.
Good work.
Immediately after, Reacher calls Susan to report that the informant is dead and his cover remains intact. Back at Zachary's house, Reacher returns to find Zachary announcing that a traitor has been discovered. Reacher braces for the worst, fearing his identity has been exposed, but the traitor turns out to be a maid, an undercover ATF agent. Reacher offers to interrogate her, but Polly gets to her first and kills her without warning. Furious, Reacher confronts Polly, who lashes out and knocks him down. Reacher does not fight back, knowing it is not worth the trouble.
Look at what that big idiot did. This fucking snail eater really ruined my weekend.
Found your off switch.
Reacher then contacts Susan and tells her about the maid's true identity. Susan is stunned because she had no idea the ATF had placed someone inside the estate. They both realize the serious implications. If the ATF is involved, then Zachary and Quinn are likely being watched for weapons trafficking, not just smuggling goods. Without solid evidence, however, neither Reacher nor Susan can make a move. As the call ends, Zachary approaches Reacher and tells him to get ready. They're going to meet Quinn at a warehouse. Reacher quickly calls Susan and updates her. She panics, warning that if Quinn recognizes Reacher, everything will fall apart. Reacher insists he has no choice and says that if it comes to it, he will act first. Soon after, they arrive at one of Zachary's carpet warehouses. Reacher sees the building for what it truly is, a front for illegal weapons. He keeps a pistol tucked in his waistband, ready for anything. Quinn arrives, and Reacher watches closely. Surprisingly, Quinn does not recognize him. It turns out that when Reacher shot him years ago, the injury caused amnesia. Relieved, Reacher stays in character. Quinn, unaware of Reacher's true identity, lashes out at Zachary for allowing an ATF agent to infiltrate his home. Zachary apologizes and promises it will not happen again. Reacher listens carefully, now more deeply involved in their operation than ever.
But this is your lucky day. Buyers know you expect to be dealing with you.
Not long after, Quinn meets with a Russian mafia boss who demands repayment. Quinn hands over half the money and promises to pay the rest once his weapons are sold.
Mr. McCabe, I am not the one who needs to worry.
I am aware and I apologize. There won't be any more delays.
On the drive home, Zachary finally confesses to Reacher that the carpet business is just a cover. He has been trafficking weapons under Quinn's protection. For years, he has wanted to quit, but Quinn threatens to kill his entire family if he tries. Reacher listens carefully, realizing Zachary is not the real threat. He is merely Quinn's puppet. From that moment, Reacher shifts his focus to Quinn. Later that afternoon, Reacher takes Richard out for errands but slips away to meet Susan in an alley. He tells her it is time to stop chasing pawns, because Quinn is the one pulling the strings. Susan agrees, although she still wants to find Teresa. Then, unexpectedly, Susan kisses Reacher and confesses that she has been in love with him for a long time. Before either can react, Guillermo arrives, followed closely by Richard. Richard freezes as he recognizes Guillermo as the cop Reacher shot during the staged kidnapping. The pieces fall into place. Reacher is an infiltrator. With no other choice, Reacher grabs Richard and takes him to a secluded location. There, he comes clean. He reveals that he is DEA, embedded to bring down Zachary. But now he knows Zachary is just a pawn. The real mission is Quinn. Reacher offers Richard a deal. Keep quiet and Zachary stays free. Refuse, and Reacher will be forced to silence him. Unexpectedly, Richard agrees to help. He is tired of living in fear and has not forgotten what Quinn did to him. Back at the estate, Richard says nothing but praises Reacher as the best bodyguard his family has ever had. Meanwhile, in Chicago, Neagley, a former Special Forces soldier and longtime ally of Reacher, is ambushed in her own home. She kills one intruder, but the other escapes with a flash drive. Neagley chases him down and demands answers. Cornered, the man confesses that Quinn sent them. It turns out Neagley was assigned to hunt Quinn before Reacher and Susan got involved. She failed, and now Quinn is coming for her.
Which guys?
I don't know. Something Polly, maybe.
She quickly contacts Reacher. The stolen flash drive contains sensitive information about their old mission. Reacher immediately prepares because his cover is about to be blown. 10 minutes later, Quinn storms into Zachary's estate. He has seen the flash drive and knows Reacher is DEA. Zachary is stunned and swears he knew nothing, but Quinn does not care. He orders his men to surround Reacher's room. However, Reacher is already ahead of them. He is in a garage and pulls away in a car before they close in. Quinn's men follow. Reacher calls Susan for backup and leads the chase into the woods. There, one by one, Reacher takes down the pursuers, eliminating most of the team. But with Susan still not there, Reacher decides to slip away.
How you folks feel about closing early tonight?
Meanwhile, back at the estate, Quinn suspects Richard knew Reacher was undercover all along. Zachary watches helplessly as Quinn forces Richard into a twisted test of loyalty. Richard is handed a revolver and pushed into a deadly game of Russian roulette. With no choice, Richard plays. The chamber clicks. He survives. Quinn, convinced of his innocence, backs off for now. Meanwhile, Reacher arrives at Susan's base, and she apologizes for not picking him up earlier, but Reacher brushes it off. What matters now is bringing down Quinn. Then, Reacher remembers a lead, one of Quinn's men assigned to guard boats at the dock. He suspects the man knows where Quinn is shipping his weapons, so they head there immediately. At the dock, they board one of the boats, but the guard is nowhere to be found. Instead, they discover signs of a recent captivity. Susan is sure Teresa must have been held here. Minutes later, Quinn's guard returns, and Reacher and Susan take him down quickly.
You're not going anywhere, scumbag.
Reacher demands to know where the weapons are being shipped, but the man claims he was only tasked with guarding Teresa, who was moved just 10 minutes earlier. With no more information, Reacher and Susan burn the boat with the man still inside. The next day, Reacher receives a message from Neagley. Attached is a video showing Zachary in an arms deal with a man named Delano. Reacher quickly realizes Zachary is still acting under Quinn's orders. They now need to track down Delano to get closer to Quinn. Without wasting time, Reacher and Susan trace Delano's location and head to his home. Reacher shows Delano the video. If the case proceeds, Delano could spend life in prison, but Reacher offers a deal. If Delano helps catch Quinn, he will go free. Delano refuses. Getting on Quinn's bad side would put his family in danger, so he would rather go to prison.
Send him in.
Well, might want to call a lawyer. Nothing turns up, you don't have anything to worry about.
The next day, Neagley meets with Zachary. Quinn has just punished him by cutting off one of his ears for trusting Reacher. Neagley delivers Reacher's message that he wants Zachary's help to trap Quinn. Tired of being under Quinn's control, Zachary agrees. He reveals that Quinn is planning a weapons deal with a Yemeni buyer tomorrow night at a junkyard on the edge of town. Quinn will be there in person. Neagley thanks him and returns to brief the team.
My son had nothing to do with any of this.
Your son has nothing to worry about.
Meanwhile, inside his private warehouse, Quinn keeps Teresa drugged and imprisoned, trying to break her.
You got no idea how lucky you are, you.
Back at the safe house, Neagley, Reacher, and Susan prepare to strike, but Susan must first get approval from her superior. They cannot proceed without authorization. Meanwhile, Reacher assigns Neagley to track the Yemeni buyer, believing he will be staying at the most expensive hotel in the city. That afternoon, Neagley surveils the luxury hotel's parking lot. Just as Reacher suspected, the buyer arrives. Neagley confirms the sighting and continues tailing him. That night, Susan meets with her superior to get clearance for the raid, and Reacher joins the meeting. Although he is not part of any agency, his role is critical. After a lengthy discussion, the superior agrees to greenlight the operation but places the ATF in charge. Since the case involves illegal weapons, it falls under their jurisdiction. Reacher protests, frustrated after everything he has done. To ease tensions, the superior allows both Reacher and Susan to participate, but under ATF command. The mission is now official.
Every decision that led to this was my call.
The next night, ATF agents surround the junkyard where Quinn plans to complete a weapons deal with a Yemeni buyer. Reacher and Susan are on site, armed and ready. A row of containers arrives, suspected to be loaded with weapons. Just then, Reacher receives a call from Neagley. She is still tailing the Yemeni buyer, but he is not headed to the junkyard. Instead, he is on his way to Zachary's estate. Reacher immediately realizes they have been set up. The real deal is happening somewhere else. Despite this, they must handle what is in front of them. Quinn's men are already on location, and the team engages in a brutal firefight. In the end, Reacher and the others win the battle, but the cost is high. Several ATF agents are lost. After the dust settles, Reacher and Susan regroup with Zachary, who swears he did not know Quinn planned to shift locations. It now makes sense why Quinn stayed at the estate. Fortunately, one of Quinn's men is still alive. Reacher forces him to send a message claiming that Reacher and his team are dead. Reading the message, Quinn lets his guard down. Believing the threat is gone, he prepares for the deal. Meanwhile, Reacher and the team gear up for a covert assault on the estate, posing as a delivery crew with 2 containers. At the estate, Quinn welcomes the Yemeni buyer. As a cruel bonus, he presents Teresa, who is drugged and barely conscious. The buyer is thrilled. Back in the parking lot, Reacher gives final orders to Susan and the others to go in first. He then breaks away to face Polly.
Get it through the basement. Follow me.
Hey!
They fight fiercely. Polly's size gives him the advantage early on, but Reacher outsmarts him and wins by trapping him in a tight spot. Inside, Susan slips in undetected. She sends Neagley to blend in as a maid while she, Guillermo, and Zachary move in. Zachary panics, knowing Richard is upstairs, and races to get his son.
You find the girl, I'll get Richard.
Negative.
I'll get him. Basement stairs lead up to the butler's pantry. Copy that.
Let's go.
Moments later, Susan finds Teresa barely alive in a room.
You're gonna be okay, all right?
No, stay with me. Come on.
The Yemeni man walks in and spots her. Susan raises her gun and tells him to freeze, but he bolts. She shoots him dead, blowing her cover. Meanwhile, Reacher storms the weapons storage and grabs a shotgun. He is not taking chances this time. The assault begins. Chaos erupts as Reacher and the team clear the estate room by room. Upstairs, Quinn realizes Reacher is still alive and tries to escape. He stumbles into Richard and pulls a gun. Zachary arrives, gun drawn, and threatens to shoot, but his weapon jams. Quinn fires first, killing Zachary in front of his son. Richard collapses in grief. Quinn flees, only to run straight into Reacher. A chase breaks out. Quinn escapes the building, but just as he reaches the road, he is stopped by a Russian mafia crew demanding their money. They seize him on the spot. Reacher arrives seconds later, followed by Negali, who carries a bag of cash recovered from the Yemeni buyer. She hands it to the Russians in exchange for Quinn. They take the money and leave without question. Now surrounded, Quinn finds himself face to face with Reacher, Susan, Guillermo, and Negali. Before finishing the job, Reacher asks if Quinn remembers who shot him years ago. Quinn freezes as the memory returns. He breaks down in fear. Reacher does not hesitate and pulls the trigger to end it.
Now you remember.
By morning, cleanup crews arrive. Reacher talks with Richard, offering final words of advice. He tells him to stay strong, live well, and use his life to help others. Then, Susan walks over to thank Reacher. She invites him to join her team, sure her superior would approve, but Reacher declines. He is not ready to return to duty. Susan departs, escorting Teresa home while Reacher finds Negali, thanks her for always showing up when it counts, and says goodbye.
Grandma?
Take care of yourself, Reacher.
You too.
I figured it out. You hate the big, powerful, smug sons of bitches who think they can just get away with things. It's not just because you need to put things right.
And here all this time I thought you knew me, Neely.
Then, Reacher fires up his Harley and rides off into the distance, continuing his journey alone. The end. So the moral of the story is never sell your old CDs. You might end up deep undercover, arm wrestling goons, and crashing a weapons deal in your socks.